This time is not different, baby dolls. That is exactly what we're going to be speaking about today. We have just witnessed a terrible dark day in crypto, altcoins especially. Bitcoin and Ethereum, of course, they are the blue chips, highest liquidity, and also Solana as well. But for the rest of altcoins, which have been absolutely destroyed for the past 3.5 years and counting, it's actually been a disaster. Now, why is this time not different? Because we're seeing the price action of everything go down. We're waiting for like Bitcoin and Ethereum to hopefully recover up. Like we're desperately praying things continue back into the zone. We're hoping it's just some sort of liquidity tap reset. That's what we're hoping it is. Because if you actually make this, if you imagine it's like a 1 hour chart, you would buy them pretty much. I'm not even joking. If you want me to show you two again, like you don't know what this is, right? You don't know what this coin is, but you're like, oh wow, there were levels here. And then, okay, it comes back up. Okay, sweet. Now here's a level, just continues up. So if it was like a 5-minute chart, 1 hour chart, you see these types of price actions all day. It's just that we know, oh, that's the Bitcoin one, that's the Ethereum one. And that's why it makes people nervous. Now, today, friends, going to be speaking about this global liquidity index thing. And I'm going to show you some stuff. I got them from Raoul Pal, and I want to share them with you because I want to help you understand that this time is actually not different. Okay, so you don't need to look at this macro data stuff. You don't need to, but it helps put the pieces of the puzzle together just to give you indications that you're still along the cycle. I don't need it. You don't really need it. If you just watch me, I'm like, you know what? I don't think Japan going down kills crypto, like as a bull market. That story sucks. We didn't even go euphoric. 2% of the market went up. You know, and that's me just going off like experience, right? But obviously, if you want to use macro data and stuff, you want to look at these other surveys and things to help show you what I've been basically talking about. Okay, now this chart here is ISM. Remember, it is the manufacturing index, and it's a purchasing managers index. So they go ask all these people, hey, you're buying stuff for the future because you're a business, right? And like your field better than everyone else. So what do you see in the next 6 months? And they go and ask everyone around the country just to get them to forecast, right? Like you're in the beauty industry, you're in the food industry. How are you treating this stuff? And then they can see if they're making a lot of orders because demand's coming in, they've got a good read on the market, right? And you can actually use this as an indicator of the business cycle. Yes, because it's smart when you think about it. These businesses, right, you can't get refunds for anything. You got to make the right decision. So on average, if you ask everybody, you have an idea of what they're expecting in the market and what they're reading right now. Okay, so this is it actually. This is what it looks like as a cyclical number. You can actually see right here is 50. Now, when we go below 50, friends, 50 is actually contracting. It's going down. But there's something interesting, right? So there's this double bottom thing that appears. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put these squares here. And there's this little double bottom jitter, which happens around regime changes. So what's a regime change? Well, it could be like a new president, new fiscal policy, monetary policy change. Like do they go from cutting to hiking or hiking to cutting, or they just turn cycle stuff, or a QE thing happens. Now, what is this actual jitter part? This jitter it's around the change. So if you look at here, right, if you look at what's been happening here, right, they've been hiking rates and they're about to cut. But you got to think about why they're about to cut. It's because they can see the data that, the economy is slowing down. We have to start cutting rates to get it along the cycle. But there is always this double crack scenario. Sometimes, once, this is a zombie virus, friends. See this one here I'm going to draw for you now. There's a zombie virus. It actually makes a new low and it just destroys itself. That's zombie virus, black swan. But you have all these other ones that they don't actually really do much. They're just like these little jitter ones. Okay, so this one was the anomaly, and everything else is not like that. And that's where we are right now. So it's right on cue. It's right on cue. The cycle's still the same. Everything's on track. Price performance-wise, yeah, crypto sucks ass in terms of it's the worst cycle of all time pretty much now. It is the lowest performing, worst Bitcoin price relative after the halving. Altcoins, definitely after the halving, one of the worst prices as well. And if you were to like match it up in the past, it's the equivalent of like October, November for 2020. October, November-ish. Now, altcoins were actually pooped, but Bitcoin was flying back in 2020. It was starting to break its high and fly. So we're like a month from now. So look, technically, we could still be really on track. I'm just gonna be honest with you though, and you're gonna ask me to play some let's play some cranky G freaking music, friends, first. That's all we need, right? So if it repeats, basically Bitcoin's got to be like just V-reversing from here. It's got to be cracking 70K September. It's got to go on its run to like 90K in October, and then it's got to pause, and then altcoins got to start really taking off November. And what I've done is just mapped for you in my mind. I know month for month how 2016 and 2020 cycles played out. So that would be the average, right? So Bitcoin's got to be, and we're expecting that until this Japan stuff just goes, okay, we reject off the channel, and then we crack that down, which basically pooped everything out. And I'll show you, I mean, like you could see for Ethereum, pretty much the same channel, same as well. So unfortunately that happens. So yeah, it's possible. It still is possible to do that. But yeah, it just kind of sucks with the state of everything now. This is the monthly candle as well. This sucks. Hey, it's still a red candle on that 5th month. I guess we'll see how it plays out. If you want to see what did we do 4 years ago, look at this next monthly candle, friends. It was literally a freaking Bitcoin does 30% in that month. Isn't that wild? And then if you want to go back to 2016 cycle, look what it does up here. Bitcoin goes on a freaking 50% run. So even if you take the, let's take the lower of that. Let's do 30%. It would be like Bitcoin starts September and then it's up 77K in September, right? That's September. And then it's got to go in October. It's got to do another 20%. You see what I mean? That's what it's pretty much got to do. It's literally got to go whoop, whoop. Can it happen? Yeah, anything can happen. And I'm praying it happens, and we'll see. Now, you saw that ISM, right? You saw how in the past, you have, 2001 and 2 and all of these, you've seen these things turn around. Of course, friends, there's always something can always come out, and it can screw us down. It can just go down here, or it can happen. Look what happened to zombie virus, right? Anything can happen. But man, they're ready to print. You got the US election. You just got these coming out, and these shocks that appear when the government knows about it, man, they just keep printing money. They fill up the gap. It's the unforeseen stuff. They're the ones that destroy you. And look, honestly, the last time we saw that was zombie virus, but before that, when was the last time we saw that? GFC. And you might say, wait, what if another GFC happens again? Yeah, but GFC, friends, there was no automatic QE response. Now we have that. That's why the business cycle's changed, right? It's fully manipulated. That's why when they put the money printer on, assets go up with the global liquidity index, which I'm going to show you shortly. And then Bitcoin goes up and people go straight to the risk curve, tech stuff. Then they turn off the money printer, everything just crumbles hard. Then they turn it back on. It's literally life support. But it all started after 2008. Ever since 2008, yeah, the cycles and stuff, yes, everything's trying to move in line, but the interest repayments and the debt of everything is too much. And when does that come from? The US debt. That's why that number go up. The US debt's obviously the guiding principle for the crypto. Now, this chart, right, it's a forward-leading business cycle indicator. So if it continues up, we got another year to go. I mean, technically another year. So it's not perfect, friends. So if we go up here, like, yeah, we got another year, then we come back down. But you got to be careful, right? When it's up, you don't know how crypto is going to react. Just to show you. So the cycle goes up and it'll still be up global liquidity, but then crypto will have its big crack. And then the liquidity so what will happen is crypto will be front running the liquidity change in the future. That's what happened before. Look what actually happened in 2021. See, the liquidity, this is 2022 start. So look what happened, right? We peaked crypto in 2021. So imagine, friends, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this part out so you can actually get an idea of what to look at. So you don't know what it looks like, right? That is, look at this part. Right here, that is the cycle. See, it goes down, comes back up. Now it's 2021. But you don't know death is around the corner. It just looks like it's gone up. Right? So I just hope you have an appreciation for this. Like it is forward looking, but yeah, they're forward looking. Then the Fed comes out and says, oh, we're going to hike rates and stuff. Okay. So none of these are perfect. And nothing here tells you that it's going to slow down in 2022. Nothing told you 2022 is going to be one of the worst bear markets and you're still suffering 3.5 years later. Right? You had no idea about that. So I'm just here opening your mind to like say, hey, this is a cycle-ish. We have to look for other stuff during that time. But it's showing you basically this time is not different. Okay, so that jitter, we think that was the jitter that we just saw. Market meltdown, Japan, everybody's becoming like a yen currency Tradoooorrr. And I even have it here, right? I've made this. I have so much fun making these memes. I can't tell you how much fun I have making them. The Yen Carry Tradoooorrr. Pretty much it, friends. I have so many here. Like, let me tell you about the Japanese yen carry trade. Like, that's all we're seeing all day. The Japanese yen carry. Did you hear about Japan? Wow. Did you know there's an Aussie yen thing? But up and down. And I'm thinking, bro, you didn't even... I have a fun part here, friends. Don't take offense if you don't know. Doesn't even know what the topics is. So no one knows it. Bro, how do you call yourself a Japanese weeaboo? You don't even know what the topics is. It's the it's the Tokyo Financial Banking Index thing of Japan. Right? They call the Nikkei. That's the main index, the 225. Then you have the topics. Okay, it's just for fun, fan fiction stuff, right? Just pretty much it. So, altcoins are done. You're right. Enjoys the blurry pixels in Japanese pornography. So obviously this type of character has just appeared. I'm like, wow, I'm reading 400 threads about the Japanese yen carry trade. Oh, Japanese yen carry, the Japanese yen carry. Oh, it's going to unwind. Market meltdown. What I've noticed is the funniest part. The people screaming market meltdown, right? Most of them will then say, but no. They're not going to cut rates. They're not going to cut rates because it's not down enough. And I'm thinking, why? Why are you talking like that? And I realized, oh, you're sidelined. You're sidelined. You actually want the meltdown to like go triple the distance, and then you want to get in after they announce QE. What basically happens is, that's why I'm here. You watch me 18 hours a day. I'm here for you 18 hours a day, friends. I'm here to tell you, okay, what are these people doing? They are anchoring to the zombie virus. All right, you can actually see that, friends. See, they are anchoring. This is Bitcoin price chart. They are anchoring here. So they want a whole week where we go down and then infinite QE. They want literally, hey, it's infinite QE time for you to go up. They want it to be that simple. No, this was an anomaly. This is a rare event. It truly was like a real black swan by all measures, okay? That type of liquidity event to do that. So that's why it was unique as well. So obviously they're saying, did you know that the market meltdown was caused by Japanese yen borrowing at 0%? So all of these, friends. This is also true, right? This is also true. Comfy in stable coins. I accumulated stable coins after my coins dropped 80% in a month. So, hey, we all have price hits. Everybody's down 60, 70, 80%, 90%. Everyone's down that much in a lot of these coins. But the Yen Carry Tradoooorrr soy jack, friends, look at this. Alts are down 80%. Now is a good time to de-risk. You think I'm making that up, by the way? I'm not making that up. Okay, I watched them all. I watched them all on Twitter. I watched them all on YouTube. Yeah, many. Everything was down 80%. They get, I got to de-risk now. They start selling everything off. Then we get back into stable coins. All right. So they weren't buying dips. Said, oh, wait for it to get better. That's the same thing, man. Look, friends, I know you don't see their price performance on their chart. You don't know how they do cycle to cycle. A lot of them are I'm just be honest with you. They're grifting pump and dumps. They're getting ICO allocations and they're dumping the unlocks. That's how they're funding their portfolio. All right. Their critical market decisions are not funding their portfolios. They are not in public markets with you and me. They are not holding and believing. They don't have 80% swings with a big punk of their portfolio. And they're like, hey, I still believe. Yeah, it's still cheap. You can go and suck it if you don't believe. Right? I still believe. They don't have that conviction, friends. They don't. Because they're getting these token unlocks and everything else that's funding they're getting money from like leverage trading and just leverage trading referrals, not leverage trading themselves. They're basically just salesmaning everything else, selling a product and stuff. They're not trading, okay? Everything else but markets. You see? That's the most important aspect that you need to take away from this. So, I mean, like, here, now the market will finally sell meme coins and buy into my core coins down 80%, as we got to see, like Athena and Pui and Craptos. They're all down 70, 80%, just as much as the meme coins. So, yes, having fun there. Now, friends, as we see this cycle, everything going, all eyes are on basically this weekly super trend. All right, yeah, bro, I'm so glad we saved it. You know, I was telling you, man, I'll make my videos. I was like, guys, it's under 52,000. That's odds aren't good, bro. Weekly super trend, man. We can't flip red on that weekly super trend, and we pumped it back up. Big move. Okay, now. Most likely, friends, to let you know, look, the US Fed's going to cut rates. It's pretty much, they're pricing in heavy cuts, 50 and then 50 again. Neutral rate. So right now, the US Fed's actually tightening. Okay, well, they call it tightening. It's slowing stuff down. It's cracking the economy actively. Every day, it's cracking the economy. if they can cut it down to 4%, which is around where neutral rate is, it's no longer cracking. It's now solid sideways. It means we actually fly more. So what we might actually find is that the US Fed cuts down to around 4% by December, and that gives us the final part of the cycle. That's what I might find, okay? Now, I always try to think of these traps in the future. How would people get trapped next year? Well, imagine we move into, let's actually come back and draw it now. Let's say, friends, we move into, let's say Bitcoin is like 180K. Okay, that'll be great, right? Let's say it actually goes up next year. We're like 180, 200K. What type of narratives would appear up there? Well, maybe something happens where the US Fed's got to cut down from 4 down to like 3.5, right? And then people are holding, thinking, wait a minute, they can still cut 3%. And when everyone's going to be talking about those cuts coming, and when they're going to say, well, they're going to cut down to 0% or much, much lower, and that's going to be more QE, more printing, and I want to keep holding. But what we might find is the actual real recession crack comes in, where things are like unprintable later on after that, more towards 2026. Right, but this is all just guessing off that cycle. And I want to let you know, friends, be honest, man. You know how we look at this 4-year cycle shit? We're not ahead of the curve. I'm being completely honest. What does that mean, really? Not being ahead of the curve, everybody knows it. Everybody's thinking about it. You just saw everybody wants to get out early. Everybody wants to dump and leave. Nobody wants to hold anything beyond the cycle. You notice that. You already know that. You think, go speak to yourselves. Go speak to everyone. Hey, I'm a genius. You're all going to be holding this altcoin for 6 years and I'm getting out. You know what ends up happening? Nothing goes euphoric. That's why we have liquidity dispersion out here. Nothing's actually going euphoric. People aren't going to buy XRP to $9, right? They're buying a new shitcoin because they're out in 6 months anyway. That's actually, so how does this all like reflect itself in the markets? We'll see. We'll see. But right now, it means diminishing gains, that's for sure. We don't know how much that euphoria is going to be. Are we going to get multiple waves of altcoins, or are we just going to have one grinding up, and we peak like July next year? I'm leaning more towards that, but we'll see. This, friends, is the financial conditions, right? And you can see on the right-hand side, you see this part, see this disconnect? So the financial conditions index, it's a 9-month lead. So based off like a lot of the inputs, you know, they did like oil and the Dixie and everything, it's actually going up. It's actually going up. See, going up. And then this is the ISM. So these things are, it's basically saying, you know, those surveys, what they try to do is they go, hey, can we predict where the surveys are going to be going in the future? That's what they're trying to do. They go, hey, what conditions lead to that? And then it's got to do with commodity prices and a lot of the things today. So that's on the way on its turn up. But look, it doesn't really mean like, it doesn't mean you just go up only, friends, because the market can always jitter and just slap you down any day now. But we're looking for these wider macro things. Super important, right? This is the liquidity index. You see that, friends? It's just going up. It's going up. Okay, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Remember, I made a whole video about the global liquidity index. It's printing money. That's it in a nutshell. They make the balance sheets bigger. It goes down to euro dollar, goes down to collateral, and it just pretty much it flows to the rest of the crypto markets. And if you want to see the chart here of this is the global liquidity, right? So GMI total liquidity index. It's pretty much global liquidity, right? And then you have this very light, faint blue. That's actually the Bitcoin price. Now, the red is me updating the chart to see how far it actually went down. And the green is just showing you like this global liquidity index is ticking up. You see how they're correlated? They're pretty much correlated. That's pretty much it. So look at this, friends. See this part? See this white part? How the global liquidity index just stopped printing? Yeah, that's crypto bear market, right? Interestingly enough, look what happened here, right? So this is where they pulled back. This is where they pulled back in this part. Actually, let's draw that again so you're not confused. See, they pulled back, no more money printing here, right? And we crashed. But interesting, look at the market did, friends. We topped out months ago. So there are insiders, there are thieves, forward-looking. Friends, I want look, it's not necessarily that. It's just that people are forward-looking. But I want you to think that there are insiders. I need you to think there are cabal, thieves, scum. I want you to be smarter about it because they're actively trying to steal your money. Okay. Now, me as your friend, I'm trying to warn you and prepare you for this because you can only figure out they're trying to steal your money in the midst of euphoria. That's when they try to steal your money the most. That's where they can grab the most liquidity. That's when they do the biggest bull targets. Bitcoin to $3 million. That's that type of stuff. Okay. Look when we topped out, friends. You see how the faint blue, I'm following the faint blue, it tops out first. That's a bull market done for crypto. So by the time he actually got here, so I'm going to show you this right now. I'm going to draw this vertical line, okay, this vertical little box. You see that? So they were still injecting liquidity based on their time limits, but crypto was already down. Altcoins were down 70% from the top. It was all over in this tiny window of time. But they were still printing money. And then look what ends up happening. Then the US Fed says, oh, actually, we've got to tighten now. You're all finished. And then Bitcoin crypto capitulated hard. They were already down 70, and then they went down to 95. So that is something to like be very conscious of. The capitulation, the blood part, it starts from minus 70%. And therein lies the problem of trying to like really only trade off a cycle without really paying attention much, because you're always going to be in a market that's forward looking. Always. And that's why it's very tough. The only chance you have to get out is the stock market, because every month there is guaranteed $60 billion of DCA buyers, and they can give you a lower high close enough to the highs in the S&P 500. And you can actually see that in many of the stock market crashes, right? For some reason, because the S&P 500 just has so much Ponzi money coming in. I'll show you, friends. If we go back to the previous where they did that bear market thing. Look at this, friends. So the stock market, right? So the stocks, they peak. This is crazy, right? So crypto was done here, by the way. Crypto was done here. It went down, and look, we went back and made a new high. So crypto was already down 70% by this point, friends. 70%. Or about 50 to 60%. And then it comes back down here. You see that? And it comes back like around here. Crypto was finished by this point. But do you see that? That's like, friend, that is like absolutely, like you get basically all your money back. Like you're going to get back only 2% from the top. You see that? But crypto's already down 70, 80%. You're finished. You're finished by that point. If you look at that April zone, stuff like, yeah, pretty much it's game over for everything. So crypto has thin liquidity. And because you're gifted a parabola, you have to take advantage of that. And it's when everybody's really partying. So if you are, in a nutshell, if you are waiting for the stock market to turn, the indexes to turn, the cycle to turn, if you're waiting for the business economy and all these to turn, you will be selling your crypto at already 80% down, 70 to 80% down. You will be. That's why you can't actually wait for that. You have to rely on the fact that we are early, we get gifted these numbers, and then that's why it's too hard. It's too hard. It's not impossible. It is tough, man. It is tough. Things are going really, really great, and I was like, because no one's going to tell you the opposite side, man. No one's going to tell you the opposite side. No one's going to tell you things are looking so great. Wow, this is almost too perfect. It can only get worse from here. No one's ever going to talk like that. Look what happened in March this year. We all thought, yeah, I mean, things are still cheap. We're still going. Everything topped out. Remember? So ultimately, that global liquidity index, it's our North Star. It's our guiding star. And it's just showing us everything's pretty much, the cycle's still continuing. My theory guesses about this, the interest rate stuff, it's just because we have to guess, friends. But we don't really need to, you know what I mean? Just like you want to have fun. My whole guess about maybe rates go down to 4%, okay? And everyone thinks, oh, economy's cracked. Time to get out. Fakes everyone out, and then we rock it next year. That's still in play. And then people believe it's a new bull market. And then what happens, you go back to the 4-year cycle stuff. So 4-year cycle is the global liquidity stuff, which means a downturn coming. But look, there's no guarantee and probably unlikely that the global cycle will turn next year, even though it's a crypto top. Very unlikely, as we just went through. And what you might find is altcoins are already down 70% by the time it turns. And then that exacerbates the capitulation. That's what ends up happening. And then there's absolutely no way to predict these consistently and reliably. You're just like, you're like swallowing your nose. Like, oh my gosh, green candles, that's it. That's why I'm just telling you as well. We got to look at things like, others BTC and all these other stuff to at least try help us get an idea of that extreme part of risk where liquidity is just seeking basically casino fun in markets. And, we're blessed in crypto. We got that opportunity, even though it doesn't feel like it recently with these disgustingly dark times. But yeah, we live to fight another day. Make sure you like, subscribe. Catch you in the next one.